Alright guys, so what I got for you today is the newer line of Craftsman 20-volt drill, impact, and flashlight set. So, to be completely honest, I was given this by the manufacturer about 2 or 3 months before it hit the market to test out. I wasn't told to make a YouTube video or anything like that, but I was told to provide some feedback on it and let them know what I think. With that being said, I see these things advertised a lot more now at local hardware stores, and I haven't really seen anybody else make a video on this, so I thought I'd provide some honest feedback on this. Keep in mind that they never told me to say, hey, you have to say good things about it. No, I'll be straight up honest with you about this product. If there's things I don't like about it, I'll tell you, and there's things I love about it, I will gladly tell you, because I'm always out there trying to find the best tool for you, or maybe not the best tool, but the best tool for your budget or for whatever you're trying to do. And at the end of the day, I want to save you guys money. I want you guys to find a good tool, and I want you to be happy with whatever tool you get. So hopefully this will be helpful to you. So I'm gonna start with the one I had the most experience with, and that is the impact. So let me tell you right now that my favorite impact is DeWalt. I've used Milwaukee, I've used Snap-on, I've used pretty much every high-end impact you could think of for a quarter-inch interchangeable chuck, and my favorite has always been DeWalt. They've also been the most reliable for me, and that's what I hold as the gold standard for me. So with that being said, that is how this impact right here is going to be measured. So I want to start with the good things. The most important thing for me, the thing that will absolutely keep me from using an impact every day, is the chuck. This right here. Just watch this. Watch this. Very important, okay? Look. Just push it in. It's locked in there. That's something so simple, but it's something that I absolutely require in my daily used impact. If it doesn't have that feature, I'm not using it. Now, obviously you saw that this has it, all right? Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, pretty much every impact nowadays comes with that. That's not true. The lower end Milwaukee's do not come with that, and also even the fuel ones that do come with it have a very poor one. They don't like to retain it very well. What I found with this one, it doesn't matter how hard I pull on it, it ain't coming out, all right? Doesn't matter if it's being pushed back, but when I'm unbolting something and I'm twisting it and then I go yank on it, or if I'm tying it and then I'm done with it and I go yank it out, it's not getting stuck on there. I've used a quarter-inch or 3/8 chuck, something like this right here, and I put a bolt on there and that bolt has gotten stuck. I'm sorry, I've put a socket on here, put that on a bolt, and it's gotten stuck to the bolt, and the socket will come out before the bit will come out of the impact. Absolutely love that. That may be nothing to you, but it means the world to me. And it's one of those things that I want to point out just because it does make a difference in my daily use of the impact. Now, let's jump into something else real quick. The battery, it's all right. That's all I can say. It's all right. It's a brush. This is a brushed impact, so the battery life isn't going to be great. But I did notice that my 20-volt DeWalt that has batteries from 2012. I promise you, they're from 2012. It's the date on the battery inside actually says 2012, and I bought them new. They hold a better charge than this, and I'm using that on my XR DeWalt 20-volt. I wouldn't say this is horrible, but I will say that if I fully charge this thing and I leave it on the bench for about a week or two, and I come back to it, usually down about a bar, so it'll be 2 out of 3. And not only that, if I use this throughout the day, it might drop down a bar, whereas my DeWalt won't do that. My DeWalt will hold the charge for, I don't know, 2 weeks before I even remember that I need to charge it. To tell you the truth, I can't really remember the last time my battery died on my DeWalt. This thing has died on me a couple times. Another big thing that this might be a good or a bad thing for you. The weight of this thing. if you ever held the Mac Impact, the AWP 050 and the AWP 038, which are the older style impact, the pneumatic impacts that Mac used to offer, you would know that the weight is distributed almost like a T, almost like you're holding a hammer. So it's balanced behind your hand also. So it makes it so even though it's heavier, it doesn't fatigue your arm as much. It also makes it so that way you have a shorter distance between the end of the chuck here. And for me, that makes a big difference. It does help with fatigue. It does help for balancing this if you're, for instance, like on a roof or something, or if you're on a ladder and you may not have the best balance. Maybe you're holding onto one hand with a pole and the other hand you're trying to drill something in. This does help. I've actually prefer using this over my DeWalt when in that kind of situation. But with that also comes the fact that this is bigger than most impacts nowadays. If look at the DeWalt's probably like up to here, and if you look at the Milwaukee, it's probably like up to here. So it is quite a bit bigger. I feel like that's part of the design that comes with the cost that you're paying for this. I believe this set right now goes for about $100, which to me is honestly a very good deal. It's a very good price, and I really feel like for that money, you can't get much better in the 20-volt series. You might be able to pick up a cheap 12-volt, either offered by Milwaukee or DeWalt, but I don't think you get anything as good for $100. Other than that, on this impact, it's pretty dang strong. It's just as strong as my DeWalt XR, and I never felt like I had to reach my DeWalt to break something loose that just couldn't break loose. To tell you the truth, my DeWalt, if I had to say, I would probably say my DeWalt feels a little stronger, but it's, you know, splitting hairs. It really is. I also want to say that it may look like this isn't used very much, but it's been used quite a bit. I've used it for, I would say, going on 4 months now, and I got oily hands all the time. Even right now, my hands are a little dirty, but usually they're full of oil, they're full of grease, they're full of coolant. It hasn't peeled. Handle has not peeled. Still good all the way around. Nothing's come apart. Rubber hasn't started separating, nothing like that. I've also dropped it a couple times. That hasn't hurt it. I say so far it's held up pretty well. And honestly, I was waiting to give this impact a pretty negative review just because I had that image of poor quality, just because of the price point, but I'm pretty happy with it. So I could think about for this right now, move on right now to this flashlight. Alright, so the flashlight, not my favorite, really isn't. The beam has almost like a bluish, purplish, yellowish, I don't know, like a rainbow effect to it, right? It's not a solid white beam that you would expect out of something like a Streamlight or some kind of nicer flashlight, but it does its job. I've noticed that it does kill the battery pretty decently quick. I probably get about 3 hours out of this thing fully charged. So if let's say I was working on a job and I turned this on, set it to where I needed to, maybe after 3 hours it'll be completely dead. Maybe after like 2.5 hours start dimming. At 3 hours it'll be dead, and I'll need to charge it. So to me that's not very impressive, considering the fact that it has a 20-volt battery. I would expect a little bit better battery life, and the fact that it's not really that bright. One thing that I do like is that this swivel head does swivel all the way up. I've noticed that on some lights they only go about yay big right there. I'm sorry, yay tall right there, or maybe a little bit like that, but it just goes straight up. So I've actually used this when I was working underneath my kitchen sink. I was actually using this also. I was installing a water filter system, and I didn't have my headlamp on me, which I normally use. So I put this down there, lift it all the way up, illuminated perfectly what I needed to see. And yeah, I mean, I love it. To me, this feels like just a bonus to the set because I never thought about picking this up for the light, but I'm very glad it came with it. And again, I really got to state this again. For the price point, you're getting a great deal. You're getting 3 items. And I can't think of anybody else that does that right now. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's some crazy promo going on, or maybe there's a sale that goes on every now and then. But off the top of my head, I can't think of another manufacturer that's doing this for $100. So, not to keep repeating myself, but this is just a nice icing on the cake. I didn't mean to buy this set for this light, but I'm very glad it came with it. Alright, last but not least is the drill. Is it the best? No. Is it the worst? No, not by any means. I have my go-to drill is the 20-volt non-XR brushed DeWalt, and I would say this is a little bit slower than that, but it also helps me. For instance, when I'm doing like headlight cleaning or when I'm sanding something down that doesn't need a high RPM, I usually reach for this. This is at its fastest speed right here. Not very fast, but if you're, for instance, drilling something out in a let's say engine, you don't want to go high speed. You don't want to burn up that drill bit. So this is probably where you're gonna need. If you don't plan on cutting into a thick piece of steel, it's probably all you're gonna need. Honestly, I would say that I put this on par with my DeWalt non-XR. Another thing that I will note that I really do not like about this is the fact that it gets hot. I mean, it gets pretty hot. After cleaning one side of a vehicle headlamp, so if, a pair of headlamps, after cleaning one headlamp, this thing is spitting fire. Not literally, of course, but it feels like it's just blowing hot air through here, like to an excessive amount, like to the point where I thought I was gonna have to shut it off or something because I thought it was gonna go kaput. But for the sake of the review, I really want to push it to the limit. It never quit. The battery died before it overheated. And with this thing fully charged, I did 2 headlamps that were really dirty. That was probably out there for like 30-45 minutes, and the battery died to the point where it started slowing down considerably. It didn't stop working, but it did become pretty much useless. So I guess it still had a little bit of a charge left, but it was pretty much useless because it couldn't even keep up the RPMs that I needed. Other than that, it does have that same effect that this has with the weight, where it tries to transfer the weight to the back right here, so that way you don't get as much fatigue. I did find that pretty useful. I like that. There has been a couple times where I need something really strong, but I've had to go to corded, nothing cordless, because nothing cordless was strong enough. So if you are looking for a good automotive set, honestly, I'd really recommend the set. I've been very happy with it. I've been using the heck out of it. I've been going hard on them, and for the price point, yeah, it's not the best, but I've been very happy. And my biggest gripe with this whole set is the battery life on this set. It's not very good. But if you're like me and you work automotive, you aren't going to be taking these to a job site most of the time. They're going to be on top of your toolbox at work in the shop. So that means that when you're done with it, when you go on lunch, or before you go home in the day, you put on the charger. In the end, yeah, I do recommend this set. It's a good set. It's been very good to me. At the price point, it's been fantastic. I really can't think of anything else right now that can compete with it for this price. It's held up pretty well. It hasn't given me any hiccups. The battery stays very secure, even though the battery life is not very good. I will also like to end this with the fact that if you have any questions about the set, just drop a comment or send me a personal message. I will always do my best to reply to comments about specific questions. I will always try to put these things to a harsh test. One thing you guys one thing you guys need to understand is the fact that I do this for a living. I am not somebody that just buys tools and leaves them on top of my toolbox. I can't think of a tool that hasn't gotten dropped in oil. So these things are put to a hard abuse. So please take that into consideration when looking at my reviews. They are beat, they are used, they are real tools. They're living the tool life. If you have any more questions, just let me know. If you have any specific questions about the tool, anything that's keeping you from buying this tool, let me know. Hopefully I can answer them for you, and hopefully that will help me improve my videos for you. If there's something out there that you're on the edge of buying, or you're curious about buying, or you're seeing that nobody's making a review for it, let me know. If it's not something really expensive, I'll do my best to try to review it for you and provide you with some honest feedback. I'm not rich, but I do this as a hobby. I do this professionally. And if I could help somebody else out there get a good tool for a good price and feel more confident about going to the hardware store or your tool truck and picking up that tool, let me know. I'll do my best to help you out. Thank you.